Right, I'm going to try Third Time Lucky. The video had just frozen and wasn't moving. I had no idea whether anybody could see it or not. Yes, we have some life. So good morning. Apologies if you have been with me and I was sounding as if I was chattering to myself. I've no idea whether that last video even went live. The camera had frozen this end, and there was no sign of any life at all. So it may have been that it didn't go live at all, but if it did, apologies. Here we are now on this Friday morning, watching a magpie and a crow have a bit of an argument on a nearby shed roof. Those two are always setting to. But we're not here for bird watch. We're here for a bit of crafting. And so my name is Helen Jennings. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator based here in the UK. And we try and come in on a Monday and a Friday to do a bit of crafting. Hello Beryl, hello Jackie. I can see Em's face up there as well. Lovely to see you. Do come on and say hello if you're joining us. Do share this video out with other people. It's always nice to get new people joining us. And today we're going to have a bit of a play with something that has literally gone live today. And not only that, it's free. Don't get to say that very often. But this morning, or late last night, Stampin' Up released a digital download called United Through Creativity, and I've printed off this paper copy so we can have a little flick at what's in it, and everybody can download this for free. So whether you're a customer, whether you're a demonstrator, whether you've somebody that's never ever made a card in your life, never ever heard of Stampin' Up, it doesn't matter who you are, you can go onto my online store, find this PDF and download it. So that is very exciting. And the idea of it is the images have all been created for World Diversity Day, and sort of with the idea of celebrating and appreciating the value of cultural diversity. And it's actually going to be around for nearly 12 months. You're going to be able to download this. So you're not in a panic to get it today. But, hi Glenda. But I thought as it has launched today, let's have a look at it today and let's have a bit of a play with it. So as I said, I've printed this in paper. Obviously, if you're going to use these in your card making, you'd want to print them onto card. So I have picked out the ones I want for this morning and printed those onto card. But you've got some beautiful images here. Look at that, with the idea of whether you're big, small, old, young. If you're in a wheelchair, it really makes no difference. We are all valued. This one is rather beautiful. These three people sort of entwined in a big hug. That's very appropriate for us here in the UK this week, when hugs are tentatively allowed now as of Monday. So you've got all these greetings as well, and you can see they're in different languages. We belong together. Same sentiment, I'm sure, for all of them, but yeah, just in different languages. So we belong together. There's the first page. Then we've got some greetings, and we've got these same greetings in 3 different colour orientations. So this one is: when we unite our creative light, we lighten people's hearts. Very sweet, isn't it? I love this one. You are not a drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean in a drop. Isn't that beautiful? And there's that we belong together again. So I say you've got that in a variety of colours depending on your card, your project, what you're using. Now this, I imagine, is going by the greetings and things. This page is this image. I think it's probably German. I haven't yet found out all of the imagery and what it all stands for. Excuse me. excuse me, I could feel that sneeze coming. As I say, this is obviously sort of, I don't know, is this Edelweiss? I don't know. We need to look that up. I need to find out what that one is. This one is obviously a maple leaf. You've got How's It Going, eh? True North. I'm sure this probably is Canadian. So if anybody is Canadian and can help us understand the significance of that, that would be brilliant. Here for you, through thick and thin. We've got some pie down here. A nice apple pie. Hang in there. You're the best thing since sliced bread. And this one I think is representative of the US market. So there's sort of something for every market. This one is the New Zealand market, I do believe. Kiora, good as gold. Dutch, we've got some clogs there. Obviously, you don't have to be Dutch to use your clogs in your card making. This one is for us here in the UK, and we've got a daffodil, we've got a thistle, we've got a rose, we've got a 4-leaf clover. What absolutely fabulous news. Fancy a cuppa, I love this. Chin up, it'll all come out in the wash. I love that. Very appropriate. And then here we have the bread and the cheese and the wine for France. As I say, there's absolutely no reason why you couldn't be using that image. And then this image on the back, you've got 4 of these, and that sort of represents all of the places around the world where Stampin' Up have got a presence, where there's a Stampin' Up market. You've got your duck-billed platypus, you've got your kiwi, you've got your bike, you've got your eagle, you've got Big Ben there, you've got a moose, some castles and a gnome. So lots of lovely images in there that you can print off time and time again. Use them as often as you like. If you've got pen pals or friends living abroad, you can pick out some of those alternative greetings in different languages. If you run a French class or a German class, you could have them making cards, all sorts of things. So I've printed a few out in card. So I have got this one, and I think we're going to have a play with this one. I've obviously got the one with the UK flowers on, and this one on my card didn't quite feed into my printer properly, but I think it's this one I want anyway, so I didn't worry about wasting another bit of card feeding it through again. So let's have a bit of a play with some of these images. Now you will see on the front sheet here, it tells you obviously things like the angel policy, terms of use, those sorts of things. It also tells you coordinating products, so the colours they've used in things like the sentiments and things. You've got Bermuda Bay, Calypso Coral, Crushed Curry, Highland Heather, Mint Macaron, Pool Party, Poppy Parade, Shaded Spruce and Soft Suede. So those are the colours that they've used in the greetings. But they've also used the Label Me Fancy Punch. These also coordinate with these things. The stitched rectangle dies and the tasteful label dies. So those are some of the things that they're suggesting will coordinate with your free download. So I'm just going to grab some pens. Okay, let's move this to one side for a minute and let's bring in this sheet just here. Now I'm going to take the rectangle stitched dies as a starting point, and I think it was the third one down that I decided would fit that quite nicely. I'm just going to roughly cut around there. So I can run that through my die cutting machine. So let's do that. Let's die cut ourselves a rectangle. As I say, this download is available to everybody. It just needs to go onto my online store or onto stampinup.com if you're elsewhere, and you should find a link to it. I'm just going to try and use a bit of washi tape, if only I can find the end of it. Okay, where are you? There you are. Got a nice fluffy jumper on, so that'll shouldn't be having to wear nice fluffy jumpers, should we, towards the end of May. But we are it is really quite chilly. Right, just run that through my machine. Let's take off that washi tape. Pop that image out of the die. When I saw this, it sort of reminded me a couple of things really. This weekend we're hoping, the weather forecast is appalling, but it is our intention to get together as a family, so it'll be the first time I've had all three of my children in one place for what seems like a very long time. Well, it has been a very long time. It probably is, what would it have been, Christmas 2019 possibly was the last time that we were all together as a family, so we are hoping to get together as a family this weekend. It is very much the plan, whatever the weather. So I saw that picture and it did remind me of the fact that obviously my son still lives at home with me, my two girls don't, and although I've seen them, yeah, the opportunity to get them in a big bear hug is very exciting. So that was one thing that picture made me think of. And the other thing is good friends supporting each other through really tough times, and as a group of friends, my close friends and I have had to be hanging on to each other through what's been quite a tough time over these last couple of months. So that very much reminded me of that as well. So a lovely image for lots of occasions. Just having a dig about because I think snaily paper. This is some snail mail paper. So I think we might have some of that as well. But first of all, we need to colour this image in. Now we could go with watercolours. Not watercolours, stamping markers. We could go with watercolour pencils, that's what I was thinking. Watercolours themselves, I would imagine, would make the ink run. I'm interested to see what happens with the markers actually. We're about to have an experiment because they're solvent-based markers. See what happens with those. Hopefully they won't run. Let's have a few little hair colours. What should we have? Let's have green and light of navy. And let's go just jade. Right, okay, so I think I'm going to take dark Bermuda Bay and take this sort of flowery patterned jumper in the background. Follow those arms around, see who they belong to. Luckily they all have different patterns on, which does make that job a little bit easier. Ooh, wrong one. Now my light Bermuda Bay is starting, no, that's even worse, it's starting to run out. It's going to be very squeaky. Squeaky, squeaky, squeaky. Need to put one of those on the shopping list. Let's come down here. Here's another bit of that jumper. Squeaky, squeaky, squeaky. Okay, let's come in with just jade for this cardigan here. Coming in around the edge. Let's bring in the light one. Ooh, throw it on the floor. Let's pick it up. Try that again. Another squeaky one. Not because it's drying out this time though. It just is squeaky. Some seem to be squeaky and others not so much so. Let's come down here. colour that round. Now she's obviously got a bit of a dress going on here. Right, and then we'll come in for the stripes. So I've got some Night of Navy here. This is dark Night of Navy. Bring in light one here, then leave that stripe white. Squeaky, squeaky. I'm not sure that those stripes are very even. Obviously, if you're concentrating very hard, you could make those stripes slightly more even than I have. Let's think about some hair colour. So this is dark grey granite. Let's have this lady with some grey hair. Fill in that centre bit. Then we'll have some soft suede coming down here. And some light soft suede. And obviously, if you've got a particular group of friends that you wanted to, that you're thinking about, you could do these with hair colour and things to match. The one at the back come in So Saffron. I'm also going to bring in a bit of crumb cake, so let's bring in some crumb cake there. And we'll bring in bringing in that crumb cake makes it slightly less sort of straw. Sort of bright, it gives it, sort of tones it down just that little bit. Now this lady here, I'm going to give her some pink. I'm going to come in with some ivory as well. Actually, I think we'll come over the top with some ivory as that dries. It's a good skin tone. Just going to give her some, those look like well manicured nails. She's not been digging in the garden with those. Let's give her a bit of blue nail varnish and perhaps give her some colour on her bangle. And then for this lady's hand, I'm going to use the bronze. There we go. So there we have our three ladies. Having a big hug. To bring in this We Belong Together. Chop that. We may need to trim it down again, we'll see in a minute. Bring in the little trimmer. This down, make it 10 by 14.4. As I say, that's the out of the snail mail card. Ooh. Actually, let's go to the Night of Navy twine. And we'll have a bit of that. And let's grab a piece of thick cardstock to make our card base. We'll just move things out of the way for a minute so we can see what we're at. So as you can see, it's very definitely snaily paper on the other side. Fun little stitched wiggly pattern on there. I'm going to put some dimensionals on here and raise that up. And a glue dot. There's my bow gone. And just stick that glue dot behind there. We'll have a tweak with that in a moment. Let's put some more dimensionals on here. It's going to take a little one actually. Oh no, that's another big one. Just going to squeeze a little one on the end there just to hold it up. Let's just have a few little sparkles. Oh, where did you go? Just there. So there we are, we belong together. There's one little card made with that download pack. The other thing I've got out is these images. I'm just going to cut round them. I haven't decided quite on my greeting yet. But let's colour these in. So I've got some Daffodil Delight for my daffodil. want something a bit let's come in with these bottom petals. With some Daffodil Delight, some light Daffodil Delight. I think for the trumpety bit we'll come in with some Mango Melody. So we'll just make it a slight, we could have gone as mad as orange of course with daffodils, but I think we'll just come in, make it slightly oranger, if there is such a word, but not completely orange. You do need to be a little bit careful, the ink does blend a little bit out. I suppose it'll depend on your printer really. Let's give that a bit of a stem. Gonna stick to the same green, so let's these some stems as well, and then this one obviously we've got a clover. For Ireland, and we have a rose for England. Daffodil for Wales, and the thistle for Scotland. Let's bring in some dark Poppy Parade. And some light Poppy Parade, and then for our thistle we're going to bring in some Highland Heather, which seems very appropriate, even though it isn't heather from the Highlands, it's a thistle from the Highlands. It does seem appropriate that we should be using Highland Heather. Let's come in with the light Highland Heather on the top here. So for you Australian ladies that are on here, are you able to tell us what the what this is? With the good day, you beaut, you're a true blue friend. So what's the flower on that one? Be interesting to know. Right, I'm going to take my snips and very quickly. So we could take one of those dies and just put a sort of label shape around these. But instead, oh, thank you, Jackie. I'll have to look that up, find some pictures what one looks like. A waratah, is that how you say that? Yeah. Well, Glinda has the added advantage of being in situ, Glinda. I shall be Googling later. So here's our daffodil. So they're relatively easy to cut out. Not too many fancy bits. And you could just, the nice thing is you just need to print out the sheets that you want to use. So you could have roses for Valentine's Day. You could have clovers for good luck. Obviously St. Patrick's Day, St. George's Day, St. David's Day, St. Andrew's Day, if you're sending cards for those sorts of saint days. I don't know if you have a patron saint of Australia, do you? The national flower of New South Wales, excellent. We're all learning. Right, there we go. There's our flowers. Stroke leaves. Now, there's the tasteful labels. I think that one would work quite well. Hello, Jane. Right, we're playing with the download that's been released today. I think we could have a bit of a play with that. I'm going to die cut 4 of these labels in black. One. Two. And 4. They pop rather nicely on there. I've twisted myself around my wire. Right, I'm going to take a bit of make a black card base. Let's trim that down and score it at 10.5. Just knocked the end off my microphone. This was flown on the floor. Can here. Right, so I've got a bit of scrappy card here that I was stamping on and it didn't work, so it is a bit of scrappy card. I'm just looking for found what I'm looking for. Looking for my double-sided stickiness. Let's cut round that. It won't really matter what side this goes on. So I've peeled that top off. Stick that on there. And peel that off there, and then this is very sticky. Let me put it to the back there just a minute, because what I've got here is lots of oddments of Poppy Parade and Home Heather. might be big enough actually. We've got some Daffodil Delight and a shaded spruce. I'm going to cut some. I'm going to cut 3 of each 1 centimetre strips. Shan't need 3 of each, but that will just allow me to play about a bit. That's not quite long enough, I don't think. That's better. Just chop that end bit off and get rid of that because that's a bit dog-eared. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and last but by no means least, 1, 2, 3. Come this way, I think. Could have got away with that at the yellow if I'm going to come this way. Let's start in the middle with some red. And of course it just good way of using up scraps. It just sticks. That's a little bit on the wonky side, but you'd have more time to keep it straight. And I'll just stick that on the end there, then come in the other way. We need some Highland Heather, Daffodil Delight. Ooh, Shell Pops need another one, Shaded Spruce. Poppy Parade. Daffodil Delight. Shaded Spruce. Highland Heather. Give that all a good push down and then trim it off. So that saves playing with too much glue and things, just having that whole sheet sticky and ready to go. Now, do we want them to be little windows that way, or shall we swing them round? No, I think we'll go this way because it'll be a bit of a squeeze to get them in the other. Like that, I think. Let's have some twine. So I'm going to pop these on some dimensionals. And pop them on their little respective mats. Daffodil. So just remember, this is free to download. It doesn't cost you anything to download it. So even if you only think there's about 2 images on it that you'd ever use, that's still fine. It's not cost you anything. All it will cost you is the price of printing out the sheet, and you can print out whichever sheet you happen to want. You haven't got to print them all out. I'm going to take some black twine from the Twine's Essentials pack. Let's stick our stripy coloured background down. Hide the butterfly on the bag, so it didn't matter that it was a bit of scrappy card really, because that is going to be forever hidden now. Let's put our what have we got? What absolutely fabulous news. Fancy a cuppa, chin up, it'll all come out in the wash. I think we'll go with what absolutely fabulous news. On a bit of black card, trim that round. Put that on a bit of a angle on there. Nearly out of black matte dots until my order arrives next week. But there we go, bright and bold. So, available today in my online store. You go and hunt it out. You just need to download the PDF. As I say, I've printed one out in paper. You've got lots of greetings, some nice little images just waiting to be coloured in, celebrating cultural diversity, all of those different cultures and different nations that are part of the Stumping Up family. So that was fun. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope that has tempted you to go off and download your free PDF. And obviously while you're there, do check out the rest of the shop. Don't feel that you're not allowed to spend anything, because I absolutely give you my permission to do that as well. So lovely to see you all. Thank you for joining me, and I will be back next week. Have a great weekend, everybody, and I hope you get to do some hugging with some special people. So we'll see you all very soon.